Thank you, Anton and Laura. Hello again. Today's topic is, what the heck am I talking about? Get set. Well, I don't mean to be quite confused. Some of you know that I wasn't supposed to be here today. Today was supposed to be a day off, and originally I was going to be in Orlando with my colleagues at the Centers for Spiritual Living Conference, and then I made a choice to not go to that for all kinds of reasons you might hear about next week. And then, so I got a guest speaker to speak, and then that person had to cancel. So it was like, oh, I guess I'm talking today. It's like, what am I going to say? And it's just an interesting thing to have that thread. So I need to go back, since sort of I am here, I need to go back to where I usually start, but I was so captivated by our own chimes. And particularly because it is Valentine's weekend. I know everybody wore red last week. And you know, I protested and did not because that was way too far ahead of Valentine's, and so Valentine's was Friday, and so I'm either your Valentine or I am a lost TWA attendant caught in the future. I looked in the mirror and I thought I looked like a TWA stewardess or an Olympics game docent. I'm not sure which. All right, I shall transform the world by saying, how may I love you today? Oh, listen to you. Well, happy Valentine's back to you, too. In addition to that, last week was also one of my holidays, which was President Abraham Lincoln's birthday on Wednesday. And I was thinking back, he is my idol and one of them. And I was thinking that when I was a kid, we used to get Lincoln's birthday off and Washington's birthday off, right? And I always thought it really was to honor them, not just to sell another new car or mattress. And then they combined it into President's Day, which I think was supposed to be to honor all presidents who have served. But do you ever see commercials with Theodore Roosevelt or Nixon or Carter? No, they always have pictures of George Washington or Abraham Lincoln selling you the car or the mattress and talking about the sales day. And for many people, tomorrow is a day off, some no. But I really wanted to honor that in terms of his birthday, because it meant a lot to me. So I have a quote from him for today. It often requires more courage to dare to do right than to fear to do wrong. So I thought I'd talk about that. Then it reminded me that this month is filled with birthdays, and most of you are sitting in the room now. So my February birthday folk, well, some of them aren't here, but I'm going to call you off by name. And today is actually Polly Joy's birthday. And of course, she has the day off. Happy birthday, Polly! And then I think last night was Ernest Aldrich. And then Linda Snodgrass, Warren Loftus, Sherry Lang Coyle, John Boyle, who's in High Watch so he can't smile. Susie Lewis Onstout, I saw you sneak in. Reverend Terry Lurch, Linda Townsend, and Elena, I know you're not here, but happy birthday. So happy birthday, February folk. I love celebrating birthdays. And it is Valentine's, and so my Valentine, because he thought we were, having this weekend off, he said, oh, can I? Oh, he will not like it if I do this. He said, can I stay home tomorrow? And I was like, well, yeah, I guess you can. So my Valentine to Don is he got to stay home. He's probably sitting on the couch with his iPad and watching the Olympics. So pretty nice, so, because he'll see that. Don is the one that uploads the talks to YouTube, so he usually has it on and he watches it, so he's going to see that. Okay. Now I will move into that which you have called me forth to do today, to be your stewardess, to your docent, into moving forward for this month, again in combination with On Your Mark, Get Set, Gold, because inspired by the Olympics, but also because of where we are as a community getting ready to express our greater good with passion and purpose this year. So we're doing that. So last week we're on your mark, that concept of being on your mark. And then today it's about get set. And I watched myself do everything but get set last night. There was such a restlessness within me of, what do I want to say? Oh, there's so much. No, I want to do something else. No, I want to play hooky. Oh, I want to do all of this. And I thought, isn't that interesting that sometimes getting set, getting ready to do that which you're supposed to do may look like anything but that which you're supposed to do. Because certainly I had the list of things to do. You know, you write your talk, meditate, get some quotes, do this, blah, blah, blah. And then comes, all of you know this, when you have a really important task to do, then suddenly all the other tasks look really more important, like cleaning, going through paperwork. You want to do everything but the thing that you were supposed to be doing. And I thought about that in terms of the Olympic people, and I thought, what is it like when the alarm goes off at 4:30 and you're supposed to get up and go run the track or swim the mile or whatever it is you're going to do, and you go, I don't wanna, it's cold, it's dark. And I thought, well, we do that. Even if we're not Olympians, if we're not these, athletes that are going out, that sometimes we go through that concept of we're getting ready to do our work, or we're getting ready to do this major thing that's important for us, and then there's that reluctance or that resistance or that denial or the laziness or a combination of all of that, and we keep ourselves from getting set. And what I got, because I am in that age, so I'm sitting there like, so I post on Facebook, I'm restless, I want to play hooky. I don't want to be doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And, a whole bunch of people respond back. Play hooky. Go do what makes you feel good. And it was like, yeah, okay. So I went out and I turned on Pandora and I'm danced around the house and then I went, this is really great, but I really should be doing something. So I'd go back and I'd do a task, and then some really cool song would come on, and I'd come back out, and my dog Chai's on the couch just watching this whole thing like, you are really wacky, Mom. And then I'd dance for a little bit more, and then I'd go and do something else, and it was like, well, maybe this is part of the process. Why is it that I'm even resisting the concept of allowing spontaneity and creativity to flow, and I feel like it's Saturday night, Reverend Duchess needs to do this and this to be ready for Sunday morning. Hence, probably the stewardess suit, right? Because it's like uniform. Needed a uniform. And I thought, that's not who I am. And that made me think, too, our lives improve only when we take chances, and the first and most difficult risk we can take is to be honest with ourselves. Walter Anderson. I went, oh, yeah. So comes back to what we talked about in our Thursday morning magazine group, which is choice, decision, making the choice. I could have made the choice to just go and do what I usually do on a Saturday night in preparation, or I could have made the choice to just went and, partied or danced or read or words with friends and whatever it was going to do, but it was about a choice. But instead, for, a couple of hours, I kept myself on a very uncomfortable fence of not choosing, which we all know that when we don't choose, we're choosing by not choosing. And yet we put ourselves, or I'll take it for myself, I won't foist this on you, I put myself through that discomfort of I should be choosing to this or I should be choosing to do that. And so we talked about choice as, being an incredible, powerful thing that we use to make our lives what we want them to be, that we need to honor the gift of choice, and that each time we make a decision. And Ernest Holmes writes, man has the ability to choose what he will do with his life and is unified with a law which will automatically produce his choice. Oh. So we may make a choice, but then we do have to have action or follow through on that choice to make it out picture, because even in the Bible it says faith without works is dead. So you can just sit there and you can choose, and then you have to follow through, whatever it is that the choice is. So I have permission to tell this story. Christine in our magazine group on Thursday was talking about how a couple of Sundays ago, if you were here, you know that I talked about Ba Ram Yu on a whole concept of being the black sheep of the family, or feeling any of us who have felt like the black sheep in society for whatever was our uniqueness. And she had not seen the movie Babe, from which the Ba Ram Yu came, which is about really honoring your own flock and your own inner thing. So she wanted to go and rent the movie. So she decided, she went to the video store to get it, and she had this decision to do it, and it was out. It was checked out. And she was a little distraught, but not, why is it out? Why is it out? I mean, she didn't go into all of that. It was like, that's interesting. Okay, well, I'll get something else. I meant to get something else. So she exits, and I think she said she went through the back door to where the parking was, and went out the back door and was going to go home, and then went, I didn't park out here. I parked in the front. Silly me, ha ha ha. She probably didn't say it this way. This is my interpretation of Christine talking about that. And then as she came back through the store to go out to the front to where she had parked, guess what? Yep. As she was walking out, a woman was walking in, and you know how you have to turn in the video at the front counter there. You turn that in. As she was walking out, a woman was walking in, turning in the DVD for Babe. Guys, that's not small. These are the miracles that we talk about, that we teach you how to engage in. So of course she smiled like, well, yeah, because she had made a choice, set an intention, she had a goal, and she went for the gold and got it because she just didn't think there was any reason not to. So, of course, she took that and took home, and now she's a Babe fan. I tell you that story because it's charming and it's amusing, and yet it truly signifies what took place in a shift in consciousness about something as simple as setting an intention to rent a DVD movie. Now, some of us would have gone there and was like, oh, why didn't they have it? I really wanted to see it. Oh, may not have even rented anything else, may just have left. Or she could have walked out the back door and then got even more distraught with herself of, wow, they didn't have my DVD, and now I walked out the wrong way. I'm not even parked here. What's wrong? Blah. Instead of going to negativity, she went, oh, go this way. Flow, flow, flow. Oh, there it is. Just needed that small little detour. Have that process. And my feeling is the reason why that little detour or that little time thing was to give her the perspective of the power of her choice. Had she walked in, gone into the shelf, picked up bag and checked out, well, yeah, we set an intention to rent a DVD or go to the market and buy something off the shelf. Yeah, we do that. So we don't think about it. Had she not walked in and had it not been there and she walked in the back, she wouldn't have appreciated the process in which she was engaged. That's why I wanted to share the story, because it's about choice. And I don't know about you, but I know we're not supposed to talk about astrology, being a religious scientist. However, I have Libra rising. And those people who follow those sorts of things seem to think that when you have Libra rising, if you think of Libra and the scales, is that there's a challenge in making decisions. Which one's better? Which way do you want to go? What do you want to do? Oh, well, I need to go get groceries. Do you want to go to Safeway? Do you want to go to Raley's? Oh, I need some healthy stuff. Chico Natural Foods or S&S? Oh, well, but that one's closer. That one I get a discount. That one I can do this. This I have a coupon. So for some who might relate to what I'm talking about, even something that simple, making that kind of a decision and a choice can be interesting, to say the least, can take up some extra time as I am weighing out what shall I do, and sometimes it's about what's the right thing to do, what's going to be the best thing to do. And then I'll go back to our lives improve only when we take chances with the first and foremost difficult risk than we can take is to be honest with ourselves, or Lincoln says it often requires more courage to dare to do right than to fear to do wrong. And sometimes, for me, I don't know about others, it feels like that even in making the decision of where I want to go shopping. Oh, if I go there, what if that's not the right place and things aren't on sale or da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Again, I'm using really tiny, seemingly trivial examples so that you can understand it in the bigger picture when we are facing the bigger decisions in our life about our goals and desires. Do I want to say yes to this big opportunity? I'm being given this gift. Do I want to say yes to this big opportunity? Well, yes, I do, but look what it might do. Is that going to hurt someone? Is that going to impact this? How can I say yes to this? Look what might happen. And if you get stuck too long in looking at what might happen, what could be wrong, how someone else is going to perceive it, et cetera, you're going to miss the concept of what's your higher good, and you're going to miss that everything has to be for the higher good of all concerned, even if your choice, your decision, your path, and your goal might cause some discomfort or I'll stay with discomfort for now, for someone else. We need to learn to trust that. We need to know that our choices are clear and strong. And yes, sometimes we may have to do things differently to honor that process to a choice. But I like to go back to words, the etymology of words, and the Latin root for decision is decide, means to cut away. To cut away. So each time we make a decision, we are cutting away and moving the things that no longer apply or no longer fit us so that we may choose what is our highest and best. So from the smaller decisions of which supermarket to go to, do I want to rally at Rayleigh's or go the safe way with Safeway? You're at choice. You have these options every day, even in the smaller concepts of life. And so sometimes getting set, you're on your mark, but getting set to get ready to go for the goal is where we can get stuck. It's a whole lot easier to get set, meaning we have our vision boards. We have our New Year's resolutions. We have pictures cut out of the things that we want to achieve and accomplish. And so we have that, and we're filled with the enthusiasm, the passion, all of the sparkle of that. But what that may mean is, yeah, I got to get up earlier and run the track or do my meditation earlier. And yeah, it may mean I'm giving up sugar, wheat, dairy, etc. Yeah, it may mean that I have to do things differently to achieve the goal. So sometimes the getting set part is where we get stuck. So instead of getting set, we get stuck and we go, never mind. It's not that important. No, I wasn't going to get that anyway. Oh, it's too late for me to do that. Oh, I'm too old. Oh, nobody cares. Oh, somebody's already written that. Whatever our, excuse me, whatever our personal excuse is for that might reflect to us that will keep us stuck instead of getting set to go forward. We get to do that. And we create little things in our lives that will kind of block us and justify and go, see, well, I wasn't meant to be anyway. I don't believe that. Because you know the difference. And God knows the difference through you. And you get to do that. Martha Beck said, I love Martha Beck. You're all familiar with Martha Beck. She's a life coach and written extraordinary work all the way from Expecting Adam to Finding Your North Star. And then she's become really popular as a monthly columnist in the O magazine. She writes, the next time you find yourself in a situation where you feel worthless, think about the most powerful hero you can imagine and how they would react in your place. Now consider this. Your hero isn't the one coming up with this new self-confident behavior. You are. Whatever you see your hero or heroine do in the fantasy you've created is precisely what you can do in reality once you choose to believe in your own value. So if you're looking at a goal, a desire, something that you're going for the goal and you think, I can't, I shouldn't, I won't, instead of that, if there's still something within you that's really calling for you to do that, then think about a hero. Think about someone that is doing what it is you desire to do. And start to emulate that. Start to think like that. Remember, which we talked about a couple weeks ago, you are still using the same one infinite intelligence, the same mind that any of those heroes has used. Lincoln, Gandhi, Bill Gates, any of those minds that you think, well, how can I? Or any of the wonderful Olympian stars that we're, all starting to follow and fall in love with when we think about the physical aspect of that as opposed to the mental or professional. That you get to think about them in a fantasy idea of what would you do, what might they coach you to do. Have a conversation with them in your meditation and ask them, okay, what do you need to do? What do I need to know? What can I understand so that I may go forward with my goal, get unstuck, and get set to move on? One of my colleagues, Reverend Noel McInnes, has a phrase that he has on his email, on every email, and he's had it for years. And I revisit it often. You know how it is. You see it every time, so it's like, yeah, I know it's there. And then I go through cycles where I read it, and it's as if it's the first time, and it's in like 42-point font in bold, and you go, oh, I get it. He writes, though I don't always get what I'm looking for, I do always get what I'm looking from. See how that wave goes? Oh, see? Well, that's what happens. And you read it and you go, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then sometimes you read it and you go, oh my gosh, I may not get what I'm looking for. So if Christine had been someone else, she may have gone into that video store, I want this DVD and I want this title. It wasn't there. Well, she wrote it off. And somewhere in her subconscious could have been added to a laundry list of doesn't work, can't do it, you didn't work, failure, blah, blah, blah. But instead, she was just so clear about, this is what I want, this is going to make us happy for us to watch this movie, I want to hear about Bahramu. So she's coming forward, and it unpictured, unfolded, outpictured and unfolded. So you may not get what you're looking for because you need to roll back and see where you're looking from. Are you looking from the purview of, oh, that would be wonderful. I'd like to do that. That would be great. Let's have that. Yay, it's mine. It's coming. I know it is out picturing. I know it will be revealed and unfolded. Yay. Or are you looking from almost that precipice over the dark, the mountains? It feels like you have Heathcliff hiding behind you going, the storm. I'm never going to make it. I won't be able to get down. I can't do this. It's too old. What's going on? No! If you're looking from those cliffs of doom and regret and never going to happen, it ain't never going to happen. So instead, paint a different picture inside your head or on your vision board that surrounds you, in your dialogue, in the words that you use, and most certainly in your meditation. Start looking from the place that you want to be. Go back to the Bible, act as if. Sorry, I just... They were having a moment of sharing something about what I just said. And it was quite charming. And yes, that's what it is. Look from the place that you want to be, not from the place that you think you aren't or don't belong. Because you will keep repicturing that, recreating that. Whether it's struggle and strife in relationships, in a job, at school, or how you're doing it, you want to look from the view, room with a view, a beautiful horizon of what it is that you're accomplishing, wanting to accomplish, setting your goal for. And it doesn't matter how many years you may not have gotten to that goal. It doesn't matter how many years someone may have said, really? You want to do that? You? Okay. Are you sure? No, that's not practical. No, you can't make a living doing that. You need to be more responsible. You need to do your tasks. You can't play hooky. You can't be creative and spontaneous. You must do this. The cliffs, then that's when the waves start crashing for me, And you say, whoa, let me change this picture, Okay. We have a different view, a different perspective. You want to come from that, see from that. This, what I'm next going to ask you is from someone named Mac Anderson and B.J. Gallagher in the book Learning to Dance in the Rain. I mean, just the thought of dancing and rain at the same time is already delicious to me. But they write, you can't feel resentment and gratitude at the same time. One will always drive out the other. So the question is, would you rather be angry or happy? Indignant or grateful? Upset or serene? Would you rather hold on to your self-righteousness and resentment or fill your heart with forgiveness and gratitude? Oh, duh. They started it out. I loved what Anton said about allowing compassion to be your first response. Wow, yes. Somewhere that's even between, if you want to get angry and upset, because sometimes things do happen and we can have anger and upset. I'm not saying you want to be, airy-fairy. You might have that response. But compassion, if compassion were the first response, that means compassion is that we live with, the Buddhist thing, it's about suffering, but suffering is an option. They teach us that. So we don't have to stay in anger and upset. We can go to gratitude, serenity, peace of mind, compassion. And we must practice that with ourselves first. And the more we practice it with ourselves first, the more we can do it out here. Or for some people who don't like to do things for themselves, start practicing it out there and let that become the habit, and soon it will rewind back to you so that you're being compassionate with yourself. Whichever way works best for you, do that. Don't say, oh, well, I can't be compassionate with myself. I can't forgive myself. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. Okay, then take it out here. If you're wired that it's better to give than receive, it's better to do for someone else, then do it for someone else so it becomes your normal. And even your normal becomes the environment and the atmosphere in which you hold and carry yourself. And as you do that, then you get to be who you are. Including days when you're angry and upset, including days when you're feeling restless, or days you feel spontaneous, or days you feel creative, or days you feel just by being. The funny thing is, when we practice meditation, we still often are wired to think that when we get still and we do that, that we're still supposed to feel or be a certain way. All right, now I'm going to meditate. Okay, so I have to be still, I have to be Om, I have to know compassion. How about just being? It's not easy, by the way, because the minute you get to a being, you go, oh, I should be this. Oh, I'm thinking that. I should feel, is this what they think? Oh no, I'm thinking thoughts. I'm told that you're not allowed to have thoughts in meditation. Oh no, what'll I do? I've just blown it. I can't meditate. And you've just sort of written that off. But allowing yourself to be. And this moment may be and feel like this. The very next moment may be different. And that may last a couple moments, and then it'll change again, yet again. And again and again and again. Why? Because we are not static beings. Everything within us changes. We are energetic, constantly changing, constantly choosing. So we are choosing to be on our mark. We are choosing to get set. We are choosing to let whatever that process is about getting set, for each of us allowing it to be. St. Francis de Sales says, do not wish to be anything but what you are, and try to be that perfectly. Do not wish to be anything but what you are, and try to be that perfectly. Then you advance it several years, and it's Yoda, and then you do not try, do. Be you. Do you. How extraordinary it would be if each of us could be who we are all the time, with ourselves, with others. Wouldn't it be like fun? Because you'd be walking around, oh, look how authentic you are. Oh, look at that. That's lovely. Oh, that's different. Oh, that's creative. Oh, I'm sorry you're having a bad day. Are you sad today? All right, let's uplift. That we would just be allowed to be who we are in our authenticity, so that all of the trappings would fall away and we could tap into what is really intrinsically important and authentic to ourselves, to our goals, our dreams, our vision, our desires. Yeah, and I'm an only child. And yes, I prefer to do things I do better by myself. And yet, there are things that I don't want to do alone. This is one of them. I want us to do it together as a community, as spiritual beings walking this path. Being able to be authentic, being able to trust who we are, being able to be hanging out with one another in the greater joyous experience of this moment now. Because that's what Get Set is about. Get set, here now. Be here now. That's what we get to do. And we get to hopefully do it with compassion, with wisdom, and a whole lot of joy and fun, because that's a huge part of that, and we may not have learned that as a kid. We were allowed to do it as a little kid, but then you have to put that into check as you grow up. No, I don't think you do. I think it's part of who you are. I think all of that is who you are. The planning, the activities, the doing, yes, doing the homework, yes, making your bed, and yes, playing, reading, resting, relaxing, rejoicing, sharing, creating, allowing, being. They're all verbs, aren't they? Interesting. Well, I think God is a verb. I don't think of God as a pronoun. I think God is a verb. The God within, the God that I am is a verb. You can try it on for size. You can see if it's a noun or a pronoun or how you want to do it. But the God that I am is active and energized and being here now. So, as we continue this month and as we complete watching the Olympics, think about that. On your mark, choose your mark. Have the courage and the willingness to sit down and say, okay, this is who I am today. This is where I am. This is the world around me. This is what I've created. This is what I have. What is it I choose? What is it I desire? So that you can pick your mark, your goal, what you're going for. And then you get set. Come to a class, learn these techniques, spiritual mind treatment, meditation, read another book, take another class, go to the gym, get up earlier and start your spiritual practice, meditate. Any and all of these things might be part of your getting set so that you are going for the gold in your life, wherever you are. It may not mean competing for the Olympics. It may not mean going on some show that has, there's so many reality shows now, I can't even keep track. What it may be is about that being and living your dream as you today. What calls to you in your heart of hearts, and I know that it's there. I know that the song of the universe, one verse word song, is there within you. On your mark, get set. Go. And how we do it? Prayer, please. We'll go into prayer. Closing prayer. Excuse me. Ooh, I have the luxury of praying with them underneath. So while they're getting set up, you get set. You get set. That means closing your eyes so that you're not distracted by the lights, by the pictures, by the program in front of you, or the neighbor you're sitting next to. And pay attention to the inflow of your breath as well as the outflow. And if your mind is abuzz and needs something to focus upon, tell it to pay attention to the music for a moment. The swell of that chord, the sweetness of that chime. Let it be a siren to call to you, calling you to go within, calling you to be still. And breathe in the depth of that being. Breathe in this moment. Don't worry about your next breath. I promise you, it's there. And don't worry about what activities you have after service, after the concert. The rest of the day, it'll all unfold perfectly. Everything always works out, for there is a perfect design in everything. And now that you are centered and in this moment, lovingly allow your mind and heart to open to the wisdom that there is only one mind, one life. That is God. That is spirit. That is the oneness of which we teach and speak. And that is who you are, who I am, who we are. And in this moment, I speak my spiritual mind treatment from the first person, so that you can hear it in echoing in your head. And I know, claim, and allow that there is the life of God that is mine, that I share the wisdom of the infinite intelligence. I share the compassionate, expanded heart of God, that all of God's expressions are who I am, what I am. The beauty of nature, the clear blue sky, or the sweet rain. That I am one with all of life as it outpictures. And so I breathe that in for a moment. And then I remember and remind myself that as I am all of that, then that which I seek and desire is exactly what is seeking and desiring me. Whether it be the desire to be healthier, for the body temple to reflect and experience vitality and vibrance and well-being. Whether I seek to be creatively expressed in what I do with my gifts, my talent, whether at work or at home, at play, that I am part of the co-creation of this life. I breathe that in and I know that I am one with all that's seeking me as abundance and prosperity, and that goes way beyond just dollars and coins and debit cards. It's about the abundance of the universe, knowing that all needs are met and that I am one with my source. Prosperity, affluence, and wealth. Wealth meaning well-being, peace of mind, joy. And as I know any or all of these things for myself, I know that I am one with the heart of God that knows infinite, unconditional love. And yes, that may be a stretch right now, but I know that there is the unconditional love of God, and I am that. And so my prayer is to have compassion, to allow it to manifest in my life, in my relationships, in my heart, in my head, my thoughts and intentions. And in this season of nonviolence, I make it my goal to be nonviolent to all whom I meet and all that I am. So as I've known this for myself, I know that this is possible for any person that I bring to mind. So if there is someone in your life right now that needs this awareness, this light, this love, this prayer, just think of that person. Don't worry about their story or what you want to see changed. Just bring them to your mind and heart. And surround them in a Valentine from God that is pure, unconditional love, and trust and know that their highest is unfolding. And now I send this Valentine out to people who may hear my voice, or someone who is in prayer in another country that I'll never get to meet. Someone who is on their knees. Someone who needs a prayer today. This prayer is made available in consciousness, no matter what faith, what religion, what country. So how good it is to know that I speak the word of God. I speak this one prayer. I speak it into the creative law of mind so that it does co-create, it does outpicture, and it is made manifest. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, life. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I wrap this up. I lovingly just surrender it, release it forth. I let it be. And together we say, and so it is, and so I am, and so we are. Amen. It's at this time that we do our offering. As you may have noticed, Alice is having a snow day. And so she's home. So we're not going to play or do the recorded version of our offertory song, As I Give. For those of you who are new, it's in your program, and